Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're discussing the most informed players coming into Double Game Week 29 to kind of help you guys with your transfer planning. Maybe give you guys some attention to players that you weren't previously having a look at, some players that are slightly flying under the radar in terms of their FPL point scoring. If you guys are enjoying the FPL videos, drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and also to make sure you don't miss any future FPL videos in the build up to Double Game Week 29 plus the remaining game weeks of the FPL season. Have those notification bells turned on, and with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we're going to have a look at the 3 players with the highest ratings of form by FPL over the last 5 game weeks. So players that are having a really high average of FPL points across their most recent matches. The 3 players here, 3 options that I would really consider, especially ahead of game week 29. Maybe not so much Martinelli, but definitely Matoma and Van Dijk. 2 players with double game weeks in game week 29 and pretty good predicted points and fixtures across the next 5 to 6 games as well. That's also the same with Martinelli. I think Arsenal, despite not having any double game weeks, have some really good single game week fixtures. First of all, let's touch on Matoma. He's already got a pretty high ownership of 23%. I do really like Matoma. He's been in superb form recently, averaging 8 points across his last 5 game weeks in FPL. He's coming in at his 5.5, an incredibly good value option for a player averaging 8 points, and he does have the second highest average amongst midfielders across his last 5 game weeks. So I do like Matoma quite a bit, especially as I say, considering his price. He's also got a great double game week in game week 29, Brentford and Bournemouth, 2 really good fixtures, especially from an attacking perspective. And also, double game weeks have just been confirmed for double game week 34, and Brighton do have a double in that week. And according to Ben Crellin's sort of fixture planner, Brighton should have 3 double game weeks coming up in the remainder of the season, including double game week 29. So definitely a good chance to have those Brighton assets in your side. The only thing I'd say with getting in Brighton players is to make sure that you can navigate blank game week 32 easily, whether that's by using a free hit or by having a lot of other players that are playing in blank game week 32, as Brighton are one of those sides that do blank in that game week. And I think people will probably look to have a double up, if not a triple up, of Brighton assets for double game week 29. So just make sure you can easily navigate blank game week 32. As yes, it's nice to have those Brighton players who are doubling quite a bit, but you don't want to get punished in blank game week 32 by having so many Brighton players that you have to take a massive amount of hits to make your team viable for blank game week 32. But of course, if you have a free hit, then going for those Brighton players, definitely a good option to target right now. Also, I want to touch on March as well. I think he's a really good option in place of Matoma. If you've already got Matoma, for example, obviously his ownership is very high. Solly March, a really good option, and Solly March actually has been putting out better underlying numbers than Matoma. Obviously hasn't put up quite as many FPL points in the most recent 5 game weeks, but nearly matching him in that department. I really like March in the sense of he's creating a lot of chances, he's taking more shots than Matoma, he's had more shots on target than Matoma, so I think March also a very good pick. Just at 5.1, he is expected to go up to 5.2 fairly shortly. Also McAllister as well, he's taken more shots than March and Matoma over the last 5 game weeks for Brighton, so I think McAllister a really good option to consider there as well. 3 quality Brighton midfielders, and they've also got some pretty good defensive assets as well. I think a Stupinan, really good option there. He's got good attacking potential, and Brighton's defense has been in pretty good touch, especially in recent game weeks. I think a Stupinan's a good pick. Dunk also a fairly solid option. He can get forward and provide some goals from corners with some big headers, as he's shown in previous seasons. Moving on to Martinelli as well, he's another option that's been flying under the radar, averaging nearly 10 points across his last 5 game weeks. He had an absolutely massive double gaming for Arsenal just a few game weeks ago now, and he has continued that form recently. Game week 28 picked himself up yet another goal. He's now picked up 6 goals in his last 5 FPL game weeks for Arsenal. He's been in superb goal scoring form. He had a great start to the season, then kind of faded away in the middle part of the year, but now he's really coming back into life in the remaining game weeks of the season. He's been a superb touch for Arsenal, and he does actually have the highest expected goals and assists out of any 3 players on this list here with 3.71, quite a significantly higher number than Matoma's. And of course, over the last 5 game weeks, Martinelli does have the highest average points amongst midfielders. So I do really like Martinelli. His ownership isn't massive amongst the top 1 million managers right now. I believe it's only about 40% amongst the top 1 million FPL managers. So by having him in the side, you are making up points across the other 60% of managers inside the top 1 million mark. And he's also only 6.6, a cheaper option than both Odegaard and Saka. Obviously, a lot of managers do already have Saka in the team. Wouldn't necessarily be a great move bringing in Martinelli for game week 29, but for game week 30 onwards, I do think Martinelli is going to be a really good option, worthwhile having in the team. He's put up really good underlying numbers, he's taking a lot of his chances, and he's got really good fixtures coming up. He avoids a blank in game week 32. So definitely don't be deterred just because Arsenal have single game week fixtures. As you've seen previously, players having single game weeks can easily outscore players having double game weeks if they have the right fixtures and are in good form. Martinelli definitely one of those players, so I really like him at 6.6. He's a quality midfield option to have on the side. Even if you want to get him in to activate a bench boost, I think Leeds at home is a great fixture to target the bench boost. Personally, in our team, we do have 3 Arsenal players. They're all going to be sitting on our bench, but we're using the bench boosters. I think Leeds at home is such a good single game week fixture, especially for those Arsenal attackers. They score lots of goals at the Emirates. And I don't see why Martinelli wouldn't be getting involved once again in game week 29 against Leeds at home. So I think he's definitely a good option. If you want to bring him in this week, fair enough, but I think he's an especially good option for game week 30 onwards in the remainder of the season. He's a good option as well if you've already used a free hit chip and you want to navigate game week 32 easier. Maybe you need to drop out one of those Brighton players, bring in a replacement. Martinelli, a player at a fairly similar price. Also Marcus Rashford and a couple of other popular assets will be blanking in game week 32. Martinelli is a good option there if you want to go for a replacement. So I think he's one definitely worthwhile considering. And also Virgil Van Dijk as well, another player that's been the most informed defender across the last 5 game weeks in FPL. He's one that I haven't seen a massive amount of discussion about. Obviously, a lot of people were talking about Trent and Robertson just a few game weeks ago when Liverpool did have that double announced in game week 25. Van Dijk didn't quite get as much attention. He was coming back from an injury, and he's now getting consistent starting minutes for Liverpool, coming in at a cheaper price than Robertson and Trent at just 6.5. Robertson 6.8, Trent around 7 million currently. He's also got a fairly low ownership compared to the other two. 11.4% is a nice ownership for Van Dijk, so I think he's a really good differential defender that can have a rank increase over coming game weeks. Liverpool do have some pretty good fixtures coming up. A double this week, Manchester City and Chelsea. Then game week 30 is not the easiest fixture, but after that, a really good chance to have Liverpool defenders in the team. I think I'm definitely going to personally jump on Liverpool defense after game week 30. As I've currently got Badiashile in my team. I'm not a massive fan of the Chelsea lad, especially since he is going to be blanking in game week 32. I want to try and switch to a Liverpool asset who do have more double game weeks coming up. The Liverpool defenders will have a good chance for FPL point scoring. As not only do they double this week, they also have a double coming up later on in the season. They also avoid a good blank in game week 32, which is a good chance to have those Liverpool assets in the side. They've also been in really good touch defensively. In their last 6 matches, they've picked up 5 clean sheets, which is a very good output considering that Van Dijk's only recorded 8 clean sheets across the year. They've found some really good defensive form in recent game weeks. Also, the good thing with Van Dijk is that despite being a centre back, he has pretty good attacking threat as well. 3 goals he's produced this season, which is a fairly decent output amongst centre backs. So 3 goals this season, and in the last 5 weeks, he's been able to put up a 1.32 expected goals and assist figure, which definitely isn't the worst for a centre back. It's not too far off both Trent and Robertson. I believe Trent is around 1.5 for his last 5 games compared to Van Dijk with 1.32. It's actually a fairly similar number. So Van Dijk is getting pretty good chances from corners, so potentially he could be a good option here. He's also good for bonus points as well. His expected FPL points is also fairly strong with 33.3. Matching both Martinelli and Matoma for a fairly similar tally across their last 5 game weeks. So I do really like Van Dijk as an option. He's also averaged 7.6 points across his last 5 game weeks, as I touched on, one of the most informed defenders. So I think Liverpool's defense is going to be a defense that a lot of managers flock to get in across the remaining game weeks of the season, just because they had that extra game, that double game week announced, which is a pretty strong double game week from a defensive perspective. Plus, they have fairly strong single game fixtures around that. So whether it's Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, those three options will be fairly popular coming into the remainder of the season. And Van Dijk being one of the most informed players in FPL right now and the most informed defender, definitely an option worthwhile keeping an eye on. Thanks for watching today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed the most informed players in FPL. If you guys did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And let us know what you think of this new video series. If you're finding it useful, has it provided some insight into some players that you maybe weren't keeping a massive eye on? And if you do, yeah, please let us know. It'd be good to hear your feedback. As always, make sure those notification bells are turned on as well, as we are going to be uploading lots more FPL content for the remainder of the season. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.